From the Massachusetts Broadcasters Station of the Year, this is Western Mass News at 6 p.m.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here for Western Mass News at 6 o'clock. I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. Chris Pisano is off tonight. Dr. Deborah Birx making a stop here in the Bay State today, meeting with the governor as well as health officials. Dr. Birx has been traveling across the country as COVID-19 cases continue to rise. Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis is live in Springfield with more on her message. Leon?
Jordyn, Dr. Deborah Birx visited Massachusetts today as part of a tour focusing on the Northeast, where she says the number of COVID-19 cases are starting to go back up. Now, prior to her visit today in Cambridge, Birx was in Connecticut and New York just yesterday. She is warning people when the weather gets colder, watch who you're with. She says you can't tell if someone has COVID-19 just by looking at them, so everyone needs to take precaution. Also, she's keeping an eye on the positive test rate in the state.
Your test positivity is low because you have great number of tests that are occurring. But when you go from a 0.9 to a 1.1, or you go from a 0.9 to a 1.3, that's your early warning sign. It's not when you go from 4 to 4.5. You wait till people have symptoms. You've waited too long because there's so much asymptomatic spread before that. And so waiting till people arrive at the hospital, arrive at the emergency room is too late.
Taking a closer look at the positivity rate here in the state, on a 7-day weighted average, the lowest was 0.8% in mid-September, and currently we're at 1%. Birx, who also met with Governor Charlie Baker today, stressed that doctors are seeing early warning signs of asymptomatic spread in the region. Now, she also wants folks to be aware of their behaviors, wear a face covering, and limit indoor gatherings to close family members. Live in Springfield, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
Leon, thanks for that live report. And here's a look at today's numbers of COVID-19 cases. The state reporting 734 new cases, bringing the total number now here in Massachusetts to just over 135,000. There are sadly 12 more deaths today. The statewide death toll now stands at 9,362. It's a story Western Mass News has been following since late last week. Another Chicopee police officer testing positive now for COVID-19. That brings the total number of officers to 5. Officials tell Western Mass News that the 5th officer testing positive worked and had been in close contact with the original cluster of officers. The department continues to monitor employees and provide necessary testing. Officials say there has been no gap in any essential service. However, internal business, including pistol permit appointments, remains suspended at this time. Time now for a Western Mass News exclusive. A local nurse practitioner at Bay State Medical Center is capturing nationwide attention with a Facebook post. In the wake of COVID-19, this post, which has over 11,000 likes, is positive. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo is live in Springfield to explain why. Audrey?
The Facebook post itself is relatively simple, a picture of 3 ID badges, all from Bay State and all featuring the smiling face of Jane S. Andrades. But when you look closer, there's a story of perseverance and triumph. It's often said that one should treat the janitor the same way they treat the boss.
At one point, I dreamed of the position I have today.
That's a lesson Jane S. Andrades knows well. The Chicopee woman is a nurse practitioner with Bay State Medical Center, but that wasn't always the case.
I started at Bay State when I was 19.
Andrades began her career 10 years ago in environmental services, cleaning the place as a janitor.
The job I specifically did was in the operating rooms.
Documented in this photo, garnering thousands of likes on Facebook, Andrades worked her way up, graduating as a nurse in 2014.
I stayed actually in environmental despite being a nurse because I didn't immediately get a nursing job at Bay State. So I wanted to keep my foot in the door.
A year later, a nursing spot opened up in the community health center, but she wasn't done growing. Going back to school, Andrades earned her spot as a nurse practitioner in trauma surgery, bringing with her 10 years of knowledge and compassion to a high-stress job.
I remember those times where I saw interactions as a custodian to remind myself that everyone's human.
The COVID-19 pandemic has put a strain on healthcare workers everywhere. But Andrade tells Western Mass News she wouldn't have wanted her journey to continue anywhere else than Bay State.
Once I start something, I have to see it through. So if I'm going to be a custodian and then be a nurse, it only made sense to be a nurse practitioner there.
So the next time you see a janitor, make sure you smile and treat them with respect. You never know where you might see him or her next. In Andrade's case, it's in a white coat.
Your academic success or your professional success, obviously it deserves, praise, and you should be proud of that, but it doesn't make you a better person. As a human being, I'm still that girl that used to clean.
As impressed as many people were by this Facebook post, Andrade said she never expected it would get this much attention. She says she couldn't have made it where she is today without the support of her network. Reporting live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Sweet story, Audrey. Thanks. Massachusetts voters starting to receive now their mail-in ballots for the general election on November 3rd. Secretary of the Commonwealth, William Galvin, says the ballots come with an insert of printed instructions. He tells Western Mass News some voters are receiving instructions saying that their ballot is due by September 1st, the date of the primary, not the general election.
The ballot's correct. There's nothing wrong with the ballot. It was the instructions. They're really scattered throughout Massachusetts. I'm sure there were some in Western Mass.
There have been no reports of improper ballots, but if voters do have a problem with the ballot that they've received, Galvin says there is enough time for people to call their local clerk's office. Turning now to the weather, it certainly feels like fall outside for what we can expect as we head into the weekend. Let's send things over to meteorologist Don Maher. Hey, Don.
Hey, Jordan. And as you can see from over your shoulder, the sun is going down. So temperatures are going to cool into the upper 40s and lower 50s tonight. But we've got a warm start to the weekend headed our way. Now, if you do have plans this evening, you're going to be just fine. Skies are clear. It is going to remain dry. Right now, we're coming in at 60 degrees. The winds, they are much lighter compared to yesterday. Right now, they're out of the southwest at 5 miles per hour, though that breeze is going to pick up a bit tomorrow as we head through the days. Temperatures right now, upper 50s to around 60 degrees, 61, in fact, in Westfield, 59, Northampton, Greenfield, 61, Orange coming in at 56. The wind's going to continue to be on the light side, between around 5 and 10 miles per hour. That south-southwesterly flow, though, is going to bring in that milder air to start off the weekend. Lots of clear skies out there. In fact, throughout southern New England, we're looking just fine. You see some shower activity well to our north and northwest. That is not going to be an issue for us as we head on into tonight. It is going to be a cool one, though. Temperatures dropping down to around 55 at 9 p.m. By 11 p.m., we're down to 50. With that southwesterly flow, though, the temperatures will start to rise as we head towards early tomorrow morning, up to 52 at 4 a.m. By 8 a.m., we're up to 55 degrees. Temperatures tomorrow, though, a good 15 degrees above normal. In fact, it's not out of the question at some locations tomorrow could touch 80 degrees. Unfortunately, that's not going to be sticking around. I'll have more on that forecast coming up just a couple of minutes from now. Jordan.
Don, thanks. We're currently following breaking news. According to the Wall Street Journal, the next presidential debate scheduled for October 15th has been canceled. Now, this comes after both President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden expressed their misgivings about both an in-person debate as well as a virtual one. It's back to business for a local roller rink today in Wilbraham. Interstate 91 South opened their doors to customers for the first time since closing on March 16th due to the coronavirus pandemic. Owners say it was definitely a tough stretch for a business that's been around for 30 years. There will be some limitations right now as the rink is only allowed up to 50% capacity. They're also holding shortened skating times.
We are a little nervous. We do want to be cautious. We're going to take all the precautions we can. We're going to ask everyone to wear a mask and to social distance, and they got to take some ownership of that. So we are excited, but yet we're taking it cautiously.
The rink's doors officially opened at 4:30, so not too long ago. Along with roller skating, laser tag, and the arcade are open as well. They say that they're keeping their indoor playground closed for the time being. During the pandemic, items like diapers, wipes, and feminine products have been in short supply, impacting donations to local charities. That's why some local churches are teaming up throughout the month of October. Western Mass News reporter Sabrina Reilley has more.
These types of scarcities exist all the time. Folks who are not able to afford these types of items But during the pandemic, there is an additional shortage.
Reverend Charlotte LaForest with the St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in Longmeadow tells Western Mass News that through their donation drive, Longmeadow Loves, they are collecting items like diapers, tampons, pads, and other essential feminine hygiene products that often get overlooked when it comes to donations.
They are not covered by any federal assistance programs. They're not covered by Medicaid. They're not covered by SNAP food benefits. So they really fall through the cracks in terms of assistance. Sometimes it really comes down to deciding between buying food or buying these personal care products.
This is actually the second drive the church has held during the pandemic in partnership with the First Church and Temple Bethel. They raised over $9,000 worth of items throughout the month of May.
We ended up with, thousands and thousands of products, somewhere upwards of, I think our grand total was upwards of 50,000 individual items.
And from now until October 31st, they are again asking for your help.
One way that people can participate is certainly just to buy items at their grocery stores or drugstores and drop them off at the donation bin that we have behind our church. We're just grateful for donations that people are willing to send. The more that folks donate, the more people we can reach and the more we can help.
And if you can't make it down to the church to physically donate, you can donate digitally through a registry you can find right on your phone. The link to that is on our website, westernmassnews.com. In Longmeadow, Sabrina Reilley, Western Mass News.